Today we are going to implement getElementById function. This function returns an element object that represents an HTML element with ID that matches a specific string. If there are more than one ID, we return only the first one. We have simple HTML structure where we need to find ID root. We can represent our structure as a tree. The first approach which I want to present is breadth first search that explores our tree level by level, starting from a root node and moving to the right to visit all its neighbors before going to the next level. To be sure that nodes are visited level by level from the root, we will use a U to iterate of nodes to be explored. We will push our child nodes to the U and then shift every node. Time complexity will be O, where is the number of nodes, and space complexity will be O, W, where W is the maximum width of the tree in the U. Let's create a new snippet, getElementById BFS, where BFS is the name of our approach, breadth first search. First, we will write a function that takes an ID as an argument. So let's write getElementById and ID, where ID is our string. Inside this function, we'll set up a U as an array, starting with the body element as the default value. The OR logic happens inside a while loop. As long as the U has elements, we'll remove the first one using shift. So let's write U.shift, and it will remove the first item. We will then check if its ID matches the one we are looking for. If it does, we return that element right away. If not, we add all of its child elements to the U. If we go through the whole tree and don't find a match, we will return null. So let's add our return and null. Let's add some onSolog statements to see what's happening. So let's run our getElementById with root ID. As you noticed, we successfully find element by their ID. Let's check also if our function returns null if there is no match. As you can see, both test cases work. I also want to show you that there are extra nodes in the U, like new line elements. Let's just add onSolog here. So let's write onSolog node and run it. And as you can see, after every HTML element, we have extra element like test. This test is a new line. To fix this, let's remove all the extra spaces in our HTML and run the function again. So let's go to the HTML and we need to remove all spaces and new lines between our HTML elements that are inside in the body. While I'm deleting all spaces between HTML elements, don't forget to like the video. So let's also remove space between body and HTML element. So everything looks good, and let's run our function one more time. And now we don't have any extra elements. So now the U only contains relevant elements. And look, when we add a new line in the HTML, it shows up in the U, proving our function works as expected. And now BFS approach is ready. Now it's time to write DFS approach. So, in a depth-first search approach, we'll start from the root and explore as far as possible along each branch before backtracking, typically using recursion. The time complexity of this approach will be the same, O where is the number of our nodes. The space complexity will be a bit different. It will be OH, where H is the maximum depth of the recursion step, where H is the height of the tree. So now we can write our DFS approach. The outer function getElementById takes an ID as argument and run inner function helper, starting with document.body as a root node. So let's write helper and document.body as a default value. Inside this function we will define a base case. It first checks if the node's ID matches the given ID. If it does, the node is returned immediately. Remember that every recursion should have a base case. If the ID doesn't match, the function iterates through all child nodes of the added node. So let's write for loop for this. So let's add let I 0, I less than not child nodes length, and I++. So everything what we need to do inside this for loop is for each child node, we run helper function recursively. So let's create a variable const res, and the result of this variable will be our helper function, which accepts our child. So let's finish it. And the last step is to add one more if statement. If a node with the matching ID is found, we need to return it immediately. So let's add return res. And let's try to run it. As a result, we see our root in our console, so it works. Let's check also if it returns undefined, and it works as well. I also want to show you the order of the nodes. So let's add one console log here, with removing previous result as well. And as you can see, we have here some text. Let's check our HTML. We don't have any spaces. I think that we just need to refresh the page, and let's run it one more time. And yeah, right now we don't have any extra spaces. So as you can see, we iterate by our tree by branches, branch by branch. So that's all for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Bye.